The warning. Admiral Zexstar of the Galactic Confederation stood aboard the bridge of the Harbinger, his flagship's crystalline displays reflecting the soft blue glow of Earth's atmosphere. His secondary hearts pulsed with anticipation as he prepared to deliver the message that would bring this upstart species to its knees. The Confederation's ultimate weapon, the Reality Shaper, hung in high orbit like a dark promise. Open communications, he commanded, his translator converting his natural crystalline resonances into standard galactic common. Instead of the expected panicked response, a cheerful voice answered, "Thank you for contacting Earth's Department of Extraterrestrial Affairs. This is Marcus Rodriguez, Assistant Director of First Contact Protocol. How may I direct your call today?" Zexstar's crystalline form flickered in confusion. This is Admiral Zexstar of the Galactic Confederation. We demand immediate surrender of Earth, or we will demonstrate the power of our Reality Shaper. Wonderful. Let me just pull up the appropriate forms, Marcus replied, the sound of digital pages flipping in the background. Will you be filing this under categorical threats to planetary existence or general intimidation with superweapon? The paperwork is slightly different for each. The Admiral's second-in-command, Commander VYX, a being of pure energy contained within an advanced mechanical shell, pulsed with irritation. This is not a bureaucratic matter. We have the power to unmake your reality. Ah, reality manipulation. Excellent. That falls under Form TX 591, Applications for Temporal Spatial Modifications of Existing Reality Structures. But first, do you have your environmental impact assessment ready? We're very particular about maintaining proper documentation for multidimensional alterations. As Zexstar watched in growing bewilderment, his view screen filled with application forms, safety regulations, and environmental impact statements. Each document referenced 3 others, which in turn referenced 5 more, creating an endless fractal of bureaucratic requirements. I don't understand, he muttered to his science officer, Dr. Clara, whose cybernetic implants were already attempting to process the flood of documentation. Their defensive capabilities are minimal. Their technology is centuries behind ours. Why aren't they afraid? Perhaps a demonstration is in order, Commander VYX suggested, their energy form flickering with anticipation. Oh, you'll need to file Form DM-247 for that, Marcus interjected cheerfully. It's our Notice of Intent to Demonstrate Planet-Destroying Capabilities form. Would you like me to send you the preliminary paperwork? It's only about 500 pages, plus appendices. The Reality Shaper hummed to life, its dark energy matrices beginning to align. But before they could activate it, another transmission cut through their communications. Greetings. Lisa Thompson, Earth's Office of Weapons Safety and Inspection. We couldn't help but notice your device's power signature. Have you registered it under the Galactic Clean Energy Act of 2157? We're particularly interested in its quantum emission levels. Dr. Clara's implants sparked in confusion. Admiral, I'm detecting something odd. Their satellites appear primitive, but they're scanning our Reality Shaper with unprecedented precision. How are they? Oh, don't mind our old monitoring equipment, Lisa interrupted. Budget cuts, you know how it is. Now, about those emission levels, we'll need to schedule an inspection. Are you free next Thursday? We have an opening between the Andromeda Alliance's antimatter demonstration and the Orion Collective's black hole generator certification. Admiral Zexstar found himself drowning in a sea of regulations, requirements, and cheerful human bureaucrats who seemed more interested in proper documentation than the fact that their planet was being threatened with extinction. Worse, every attempt to scan Earth's true capabilities was met with technical difficulties, corrupted data, or more forms to fill out. As the hours stretched on, a disturbing thought began to form in his crystalline consciousness: either the humans were the most obliviously bureaucratic species in the galaxy, or they were hiding something massive behind their wall of paperwork and outdated technology. And he couldn't decide which possibility was more terrifying. Behind the facade. Dr. Clara S. cybernetic implants whirred as she compiled her third report on Earth's defensive capabilities. The results made even less sense than before. She stood before Admiral Zexstar in the Harbinger's crystalline briefing room, her holographic displays showing conflicting data streams. "Admiral, something isn't adding up," she began, her mechanical eye focusing and refocusing on the data. "Earth's power grid shows energy consumption patterns that are mathematically perfect, too perfect. It's as if they're deliberately generating noise to appear normal." Commander VYX floated closer to the displays, their energy form casting shifting shadows across the data. "Explain." "Take their orbital defense platforms." Clara manipulated the hologram, zooming in on a seemingly obsolete satellite. "On the surface, they're running on solar power and basic fusion cores. But our deep scans show quantum fluctuations that shouldn't be possible with their level of technology." The doors slid open as Security Chief Renthor entered, his scaled armor reflecting the holographic light. "It gets worse. We've been monitoring their global communications, and everything is transparent. Too transparent. Military channels discuss maintenance schedules and cafeteria menus. Research facilities openly share their findings about improving coffee machine efficiency." Admiral Zexstar's crystalline form pulsed with frustration. "Perhaps they are simply incompetent." "No," Clara's cybernetic components hummed as she processed more data. "Look at their resource consumption patterns." She brought up a new display showing global material flow. "Raw materials go in, finished products come out, but there's a consistent 17.3% discrepancy across all industries. Not 17.2%, not 17.4%, exactly 17.3%. That level of precision." Commander VYX's energy form flickered thoughtfully. "It would require incredibly advanced control systems to maintain such consistent inefficiency." A new transmission interrupted their discussion. The cheerful face of Marcus Rodriguez appeared on screen. "Hello again. Just checking in about those reality shaper maintenance records. Also, our Office of Temporal Mechanics noticed some interesting quantum signatures from your ship. Would you mind filling out Form QF-789 about your quantum field containment protocols?" Before Zexstar could respond, Lisa Thompson joined the transmission. "Oh, and while we have you, our old monitoring equipment picked up some unusual readings. Probably just a glitch in our outdated systems, but protocol requires a full investigation. I'm sending over the standard 300-page questionnaire now." After the transmission ended, Security Chief Renthor growled in frustration. "Their outdated systems somehow detected our quantum-shielded scans. And did you notice? Every time we try to probe deeper into their capabilities, they redirect us with paperwork that just happens to prevent further investigation." Dr. Clara brought up footage from Earth's surface. "Look at their factories. They're using assembly line techniques that should be hopelessly inefficient, yet their production numbers match our most advanced facilities. And here, she highlighted a section of the image, their workers are using what appears to be primitive manual tools, but the precision of their work exceeds automated systems. Perhaps, Commander VYX suggested, their energy form condensing with concentration, we should analyze their educational system. Understanding how they train their people might reveal their true capabilities." The results were equally baffling. Earth's schools taught subjects like advanced bureaucratic theory and strategic documentation alongside basic sciences. Every human seemed to graduate with an intricate understanding of how to navigate, create, and weaponize administrative systems. "Admiral," Dr. Clara said slowly, her cybernetic eye fixed on a particularly disturbing data set, "I believe we've been approaching this all wrong. We assumed their bureaucracy was a sign of inefficiency, but what if it's actually a sophisticated defense mechanism? A way to hide their true capabilities behind a wall of paperwork and apparent incompetence?" Admiral Zexstar's crystalline form dimmed as he considered the implications. "You're suggesting that every form, every regulation, every seemingly innocent question about our reality shaper is part of an elaborate intelligence-gathering operation, Renthor finished. While we've been frustrated by their paperwork, they've been systematically analyzing our every weakness. The Admiral's command center suddenly lit up with multiple incoming transmissions, more human administrators with more forms, more questions, and more cheerfully persistent inquiries about their technology. But now, watching Marcus Rodriguez's smiling face as he discussed proper documentation procedures for reality-altering weapons, Zexstar couldn't help but wonder what other secrets that smile was hiding. Behind him, Earth hung in space, its seemingly primitive satellites continuing their endless dance around the planet. And somewhere down there, behind their wall of bureaucratic efficiency and carefully maintained appearance of technological backwardness, humanity was waiting, watching, and probably filling out forms in triplicate about everything they'd learned about their would-be conquerors. The demonstration. Admiral Zexstar had finally had enough. After 3 days of endless paperwork and cheerful human bureaucrats, he decided to demonstrate the reality shaper's power, protocols be damned. The target, an uninhabited moon in Earth's solar system. Begin the countdown, he ordered, his crystalline form pulsing with determination. Let them see what they're dealing with. The reality shaper hummed to life, its dark energy matrices aligning perfectly. The weapon's core began to glow with an impossible color that hurt to look at, even through specialized filters. Commander VYX monitored the power readings, their energy form flickering with anticipation. Sir, Dr. Clara interrupted, her cybernetic eye whirring rapidly. The humans are requesting to send observers. For safety documentation purposes. Before Zexstar could refuse, a small shuttle was already approaching their position. It looked absurdly outdated, with visible welding seams and patches that seemed held together by little more than optimism and duct tape. Yet somehow, it had bypassed all their advanced detection systems. The human delegation that emerged from the shuttle looked entirely too cheerful for people about to witness the destruction of one of their moons. They wore what appeared to be standard office attire, complete with clipboards and old-fashioned paper notebooks. Hello again. Marcus Rodriguez waved, now wearing a safety vest over his button-down shirt. We brought our standard reality manipulation observation kit. It's a bit outdated, but it should do the job. Oh, and Lisa from safety insisted on coming too. Lisa Thompson adjusted her thick-rimmed glasses, holding what looked like a handheld radiation detector from the previous century. Just need to take some baseline readings. Don't mind me. The reality shaper fired. The beam of concentrated unreality struck the moon, and for a moment, everything worked exactly as planned. Reality itself seemed to hiccup around the impact zone. The moon's surface began to unravel, its very existence questioning itself. Then something odd happened. Interesting energy dispersion pattern, Lisa commented, making notes on her clipboard. Have you considered the possibility of quantum resonance feedback? These readings suggest a potential for dimensional bleed-through. Also, your reality manipulation field is slightly asymmetrical. Dr. Clara's implants sparked in surprise. How can you possibly know that? Your equipment is primitive. Oh, this old thing. Lisa tapped her ancient-looking detector. It's reliable. Been in service since my grandmother's time. Just needs regular calibration and proper maintenance logs. The reality shaper's beam intensified. The moon should have been completely unmade by now. Instead, the effect seemed to be containing itself. Reality was unraveling, yes, but in an oddly controlled way, as if something was directing the chaos. Fascinating, Marcus noted, still writing. Your quantum field harmonics are slightly off. Mind if I take a closer look at your containment algorithms? Before anyone could stop him, Marcus had somehow interfaced his outdated tablet with the reality shaper's control systems. The weapon's displays flickered, showing cascading errors in systems that should have been impossible for humans to even detect, let alone understand. Admiral, Commander VYX reported urgently, the weapon's power output is dropping. Something is redirecting the energy. Oh, don't worry about that, Lisa said cheerfully. Standard safety protocols. Can't have uncontrolled reality manipulation in this sector. Think of the paperwork. The moon, which should have been erased from existence, remained stubbornly present. Its surface showed signs of the reality warping attack, but the damage was minimal, almost artistic in its precision. How? Admiral Zextar's crystalline form flickered in disbelief. This is impossible. Your civilization doesn't have the technology to counter this weapon. Counter it? Marcus looked genuinely puzzled. We're just following standard safety regulations. You did read Section 7. 3.4 of the Reality Manipulation Safety Guidelines, didn't you? The part about automatic containment protocols for unauthorized dimensional alterations. Dr. Clara's cybernetic systems were nearly overloading as she analyzed the data. The humans' primitive equipment was somehow interfacing with and moderating the most advanced weapon in the Confederation's arsenal. Yet every scan, every analysis, showed nothing but outdated technology and basic scientific principles at work. Would you like a copy of our report? Lisa offered, holding up her clipboard. We've noted several areas for improvement in your reality manipulation efficiency. Also, your quantum containment fields could use some optimization. The forms for requesting a full safety audit are quite simple, only about 1,000 pages. As the human delegation prepared to leave, Marcus turned back with one last smile. Oh, and don't worry about the moon. Our maintenance team will have those reality fluctuations smoothed out by Tuesday. We're very efficient when it comes to paperwork. The Confederation leaders watched in stunned silence as the patched-up shuttle departed, its engines somehow breaking several laws of physics while appearing completely unremarkable. Admiral, Dr. Clara said quietly, her cybernetic eye fixed on the retreating shuttle, I don't think we're dealing with a primitive civilization at all. The reality shaper, the Confederation's ultimate weapon, hung silent and dormant in space, its control systems still displaying error messages in 17 different dimensions. And somewhere in Earth's bureaucratic maze, new forms were undoubtedly being filed about the day's events, categorized and cross-referenced with a precision that was beginning to seem less like bureaucratic obsession and more like an art form. The hidden truth. In the aftermath of the reality shaper's failed demonstration, the Confederation's leadership gathered in the Harbinger's secure chamber. The room's quantum-isolated walls should have prevented any surveillance, yet Security Chief Renthor couldn't shake the feeling they were being observed. Show them, Dr. Clara commanded, her cybernetic systems projecting a holographic display that filled the room. This is what we found when we analyzed the humans' safety inspection data. The display showed Earth's moon, now bearing the scars of the reality shaper's attack. But beneath the surface damage, complex patterns emerged, patterns that shouldn't exist in nature. The entire moon is artificial, Commander VYX stated, their energy form pulsing with disbelief. Or rather, it's been artificially modified at the quantum level. Admiral Zextar's crystalline form dimmed as he processed this information. How long? Based on our analysis. Dr. Clara's mechanical eye word. Centuries, at least. The entire solar system is laced with what they call safety protocols, quantum-level modifications to space-time itself. When we fired the reality shaper, we weren't just hitting a moon. We were hitting a node in a vast defensive network. The Admiral's second-in-command, General Yix, spoke for the first time. But their technology, their infrastructure, is a masterpiece of misdirection, Renthor interrupted. Look at this. He brought up footage from Earth's surface, a simple coffee shop in what the humans called New York. Watch the barista. The human behind the counter moved with casual efficiency, preparing drinks. But when the footage was slowed down and enhanced, impossible things became visible. The workers' movements weren't just quick, they were manipulating local time itself, performing minutes of work in seconds while appearing to move at normal speed. It's everywhere, Dr. Clara continued. They're outdated assembly lines. They're actually operating in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Their primitive power grid. It's tapping into zero-point energy through quantum fluctuations so subtle we mistook them for background radiation. Commander VYX's energy form condensed with concentration. The bureaucracy, it's not just a defense mechanism, is it? No, Renthor agreed. It's a test. Every form, every regulation, every seemingly pointless procedure, they're measuring how different species handle complexity. The ones who get frustrated and try to use force. Like we did, Admiral Zexstar finished quietly. Exactly. And look at this. Dr. Clara brought up new data streams. Remember their outdated scanning equipment? It wasn't scanning our ships at all. It was scanning the quantum foam between spaces, the very fabric of reality. While we were laughing at their primitive technology, they were analyzing things we didn't even know could be analyzed. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Earth wasn't just technologically advanced, they were so far beyond the Confederation that they could hide their capabilities in plain sight, disguising galaxy-shaping power behind a facade of bureaucratic inefficiency. A communication request flashed on their screens. It was Marcus Rodriguez again, his ever-present smile somehow more knowing now. Hello. Just checking in about those reality distortions from yesterday. Our maintenance crew filed their final report, only 3,000 pages, very efficient for quantum-level repairs. Would you like a copy? The executive summary is quite readable, only 500 pages. Admiral Zexstar stared at the human's friendly expression, seeing it in a new light. Every smile, every helpful offer of assistance, every seemingly innocent question, all part of an evaluation that the Confederation had catastrophically failed. Oh, and one more thing, Marcus added cheerfully. Our Department of Extraterrestrial Relations is updating its contact protocols. Would you prefer the standard diplomatic package or the attempted invasion resolution forms? The second option has more paperwork, but the processing time is much faster. As the Admiral struggled to respond, new data scrolled across their screens, the human's analysis of the reality shaper, complete with suggested improvements and safety modifications. The casual display of technological understanding made their most advanced weapon look like a child's toy. We should have realized sooner, Dr. Clara muttered, her cybernetic systems struggling to process the human's technical documents. No species could maintain this level of bureaucratic complexity without technology far beyond our understanding. The paperwork wasn't hiding their advancement, it was proof of it. Outside the Harbinger's windows, Earth continued its serene rotation, its seemingly primitive satellites maintaining their perfect orbits. And somewhere in the vast bureaucratic maze of human civilization, new forms were being prepared, forms that would determine the Confederation's future in ways they were only beginning to understand. The revelation. The Harbinger's command center had become unusually quiet. Admiral Zexstar stood motionless, his crystalline form reflecting the soft blue glow of Earth below, as he contemplated the message that had just arrived from human authorities. They want us to what? General Yix asked, breaking the silence. They're inviting us to their central administration facility, Dr. Clara replied, her cybernetic eye continuously scanning the invitation. For what they call an exit interview. The facility in question was a perfectly ordinary-looking office building in Geneva, its architecture so unremarkable it seemed deliberately designed to be forgotten. Yet when their sensors probed it, they found nothing. Not interference, not shielding, but a complete absence of readable spacetime. They had no choice. The Admiral, along with his key staff, transported down to Earth's surface. Marcus Rodriguez was waiting in the lobby, still wearing his cheerful smile and carrying his ever-present clipboard. Welcome to Earth's Central Administration, he beamed. Please follow me. Director Chen is expecting you. The elevator ride was disconcerting. The numbers on the display showed them going up 14 floors, but Dr. Clara's internal sensors indicated they had traveled through at least 6 dimensions. When the doors opened, they stepped into what appeared to be an infinite space contained within a modest office floor. Director Elena Chen sat behind a simple desk that somehow existed in multiple quantum states simultaneously. She was an unremarkable-looking human woman, yet her presence seemed to bend reality around her in subtle ways. "Ah, the Confederation representatives," she smiled, gesturing to chairs that materialized from probability waves. "Please, sit. We have much to discuss." "What are you?" Admiral Zekstar asked, his crystalline form vibrating with a mixture of awe and fear. "We're human," Chen replied simply. "But perhaps not quite what you expected. Marcus, would you mind showing them?" Marcus nodded and tapped his clipboard. The building's ordinary walls dissolved, revealing the true nature of Earth's civilization. They saw vast networks of quantum computers disguised as ordinary office buildings, power plants that harvested energy from multiple universes while appearing to run on fossil fuels, and manufacturing facilities that manipulated the fundamental forces of reality while maintaining the appearance of simple assembly lines. "You see," Chen explained, "humanity learned long ago that the most advanced civilization isn't the one that displays its power openly. True advancement lies in the ability to manage complexity while appearing simple. Every form we made you fill out, every regulation we asked you to follow, was a test of your civilization's ability to handle intricate systems without resorting to force." The bureaucracy, Commander VYX realized, their energy form fluctuating with understanding. "It's not just a defense system or a way to hide your technology. It's how you actually operate, isn't it?" "Precisely," Chen nodded. "We developed our technology to the point where we could reshape reality itself. But with that power came the need for incredible precision and control. Every form, every procedure, every seemingly redundant regulation helps maintain the delicate balance of a civilization that operates on quantum levels while appearing entirely mundane." She gestured, and a holographic display appeared, showing the true extent of Earth's influence in the galaxy. The Confederation leaders saw human outposts disguised as abandoned space debris, monitoring stations hidden in the quantum foam between stars, and vast networks of reality-stabilizing equipment masked as natural phenomena. "Your reality shaper," Marcus added, still smiling, "was quite impressive. But you should see the paperwork required for our reality manipulation projects. The forms for adjusting universal constants alone take decades to complete. Very important to dot all the I's and cross all the T's when you're tweaking the fabric of existence. Why reveal this to us now?" Admiral Zekstar asked. Director Chen's expression became serious. "Because you need to understand. The galaxy is entering a new phase, and we need civilizations that can handle complexity without resorting to threats. Your reaction to our bureaucracy showed us exactly how your civilization handles intricate systems. And we failed," the Admiral realized. "Not failed," Chen corrected. "Let's say you've identified areas for improvement. We're preparing a comprehensive development package for the Confederation. The initial documentation is only about 10,000 pages." As if on cue, Marcus handed each of them a stack of forms that seemed to exist in more dimensions than should be possible. "Remember," Chen smiled, "proper documentation isn't just about recording what is. It's about managing what could be. Now, shall we begin discussing your civilization's application for advanced reality manipulation privileges? The preliminary paperwork should only take a few centuries to complete." As the Admiral stared at the forms in his hands, he finally understood. Humanity hadn't just mastered advanced technology, they had mastered the art of managing unlimited power through seemingly unlimited paperwork. And somewhere in the vast bureaucratic machinery of human civilization, new forms were being prepared, forms that would guide the galaxy's future with a precision that made their reality shaper look like a blunt instrument. The clipboard that Marcus held wasn't just a prop, it was a key to understanding how humanity had become the most advanced civilization in the galaxy, not through shows of force, but through the patient, methodical management of complexity itself. And as they began filling out the first of many, many forms, Admiral Zexstar couldn't help but wonder if somewhere, in some ordinary-looking office building, a human bureaucrat was